coworker is an intelligent customer success partner.
Welcome to AI and the Future of Revenue Retention podcast, where we explore how AI is transforming customer success and revenue growth. I'm Susil, founder of Coworker. We work with revenue and customer success leaders to improve revenue retention using AI. All right, let's get started. Today, I'm joined by Daniel Shih, a longtime customer success executive who has built and led global team across SaaS, cybersecurity, and financial services, helping companies drive retention, expansion, and long-term customer value. Hi, Daniel. Welcome to our podcast.
Hello, Sushil. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you.
All right, thank you. Great. So I think generally we start off from kind of give you a little bit of intro for our viewers.
Okay, so I think the biggest takeaway from my background is I've spent my career focused on the post-sales customer life cycle. And what I focused on really is ensuring that customers get value from their investment. My philosophy has always been that if you can deliver value to the customer, you can build a solid, trusted relationship, and then you can grow your relationship with that customer through retention, expansion, upsell. But first and foremost is to focus on delivering value to the customer by understanding what their business drivers are and making sure you meet those objectives.
What is your overall revenue retention framework, whether you want to call framework or playbook or strategy? What was it?
So my strategy was to partner closely with sales and work with sales to understand why a customer purchased a solution. And right when I engage with a customer, sort of post that sale, is to say to the customer, this is what I understand your goals are. Then let's understand how are we going to measure attainment of those goals? What are the KPIs that we have to define and put into place? And then I use that as the driver to say, through onboarding, through adoption, are we meeting those KPIs? Once we can meet those KPIs, I can use that to flow into, at a minimum, automatic renewal. At a best case scenario, if I build that trust by saying, hey, I've helped you meet your objectives, you as a customer tell me what else you want to do. So I expand and I grow with that customer. So that's the framework that I've tried to put in place at my last few career stops. But to be honest, there's always a tug of war, right? Because to put that framework in place requires you to make some changes. But every organization also wants to, in the same way, at the same time they want to improve, they want to make sure they are meeting gross revenue retention metrics and net revenue retention metrics. So it's a bit of sometimes you feel like you're changing a tire on a moving car. So how can you get that framework in place without making any impact to the ongoing business?
No, that's I think that's great kind of a way of how we can invest, and ultimately NRR, GRR will have some impact. But definitely there's some investment, and then that maybe there's a little bit of lagging from the investment that we make to the result that we see.
Exactly.
Where, as you said, sometimes we don't see patience on leaders, and then that tug of war that you're talking about. But I love it. That's great. Awesome. Now, how do in your role, how do you know which customers are unhappy, which are more going towards the churn, or which are happy, or which are more going towards the expansion? How do you know that?
I think I know that if I truly understand the customer. Okay. So if I say to a customer at the start, why did you buy our solution? And they say, I want to use your functionality to expand into this new area to drive a new revenue stream. So if I want to deliver online training because that's a revenue opportunity, and I can say to the customer, well, if I can grow the throughput on the number of trainees you go and see that revenue stream grow, then I see that customer as one, they know why they purchased a solution. They've helped me understand what we're trying to achieve, and they've helped me define what is that KPI. I know that's a customer that if I manage them well, they will be healthy. But we're working on from my framework generally, a model to say this is customer health. Understand them, help them achieve their goals, measure that attainment. However, if I meet a customer up front and they purchased the solution because they got the best price, once you are going through the onboarding, they're having a tough time committing resources, right? At the same time, they won't commit to a schedule of adoption, right? That's a customer, even though it's 3 months into their time within an organization, you can already start to see indicators of customer churn potentially. And you immediately have to take steps to address that. I view it as if a customer knows why they purchased something, they have a goal, that's a leading indicator to a healthy customer. If a customer does not know why they purchased, that's a leading indicator to a potential churn risk.
Oh, wow. That's really, really awesome insight. I think so basically we're saying the buying motivation actually is a good indicator of churn or expansion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, you have to have a customer that really has a business, if you will. I know it's kind of trite, but a business champion that has a goal in mind and they are driving that purchase so that there's a commitment from that organization to use the solution to grow the solution. Right? That's what customer health is. Because the best product, the best solution you provide to a customer, if it doesn't get used, will get replaced. Right? Because then all it is an operating cost they have. They're paying a subscription fee. Someone's going to eventually look at it and say, why are we paying X dollars and I'm not getting an ROI on that? That's because the purchasing process didn't work well. But they made a purchase with a specific goal in mind. That cost they have is going to be offset by the revenue they realize, and they will grow, they will expand, and they will be healthy.
That's a really, really great insight. I think I really like what you said of what are the key drivers and how we can actually um, stay alert on their initial motivation for the buying. So that's great. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So, okay. So I think that's great. Now, once you know those signals, right? Once you know by talking to them or whatever, you know the signals. Now you have to take action, right? You have to do something. What are the bottlenecks that you see in your team thinking that, well, we know they're going to churn or we know they're going to have expansion, right? You see the signals clearly, but we have not been able to keep up with the volume of the work that needs to be done to execute that. What are those bottlenecks, manual, high time taking, high effort taking manual work that has really impeded your team from taking those actions?
I think what's if I would paraphrase it for a bit, what prevents my team from really being proactive and managing the customer effectively is they are having difficulty collecting the data that allows them to say, if I have defined KPIs, am I meeting those KPIs? Is there usage data? Is there adoption data? Right. So that's one bottleneck area. The other bottleneck area is if you don't move into more of a proactive approach and you're still like trying to transition from reactive, a bottleneck is dealing with renewal issues, right? Dealing with retention issues because every CSM has a quarterly goal target they have to meet. So they're chasing and trying to manage that. And to avoid having that be the be all and end all and consuming their time, we have to pivot from that reactive to proactive model. So that's that bottleneck. When I
Mhm.
say an organization has to invest in the change to make that happen, they have to invest in the time and the mindset change to allow everyone to move into a proactive. If I define everything and follow that framework I talked about earlier, I will be renewing a year out. I will be in 3-year term agreements so that I don't have to do all these short-term renewals. Right. But if I don't do that and I'm fully in reactive, I'm always dealing with new renewal issues and that bottlenecks.
Mhm. Can you give some other examples of what does the proactive looks like for you?
A proactive model is managing the customer to growth, right? If I come to you and ideally what I should be able to position myself as is I will always come to you on a quarterly basis or a biannual basis and say, hey, Mr. Customer, let's review your objectives. Let me talk to you about how we met them. Right. Hey, so if you look at the KPIs we defined, we hit this one, we hit this one, we hit this one. So we met this objective. We met this objective. Now you're deriving value. I use that conversation as a basis to say, what do you want to do next?
Mhm.
Right. I build the trust so that you share your next set of goals by achieving the goals we talked about. Now, what I should also do to the customer, or for the customer, if you will, is that if I have other customers and I hear what they're doing, I should bring that to the table. Hey, have you ever thought about doing this? So even if they're not coming to me with an objective, I can potentially um, seed the conversation to help them see the next objective, if you will.
Mhm.
That's proactive management of the customer and managing that relationship.
Yep, love it. No, I think that's a great way of putting it. Sometimes as proactive and reactive, we just think about more from the data only perspective, but you are saying it's not just the data and early signal, it's about how you go about working with them has to be proactive, right? And
Yes.
more partnership basically. Yeah. Okay, great. Love it.
Mhm.
So where are you or your past organization from the AI perspective? Were you kind of more as a exploring, discovering, or leveraging some? Where were you in your journey?
We were at a point, I would say we had moved past the initial exploration to say um, we can use AI to automate playbooks. We
Hmm.
can use AI to automate alerts. Right? When you look at the operational drivers for a lot of CSMs, it's hey, maybe 5 years ago a CSM had 30 customers. Then 3 years ago they had 50. Now they have
Hmm.
150. Well, you
Hmm.
have to be able to manage that customer load,
Yeah.
right? And that's where AI comes in. If I'm looking at its AI as a driver to my dashboard, my customer dashboard, I should have my attention focused on those customers that, okay, there's an issue here. Okay, it's going to trigger this playbook, and I can determine, okay, that's a good next step. And do I need to step in? No, I don't. Where I can see this alert here. It's like the CSM should become the, if you will, the air traffic controller for their customers. And the AI integrated into a CS platform allows that dashboard to really work with them as a tool
Mm-hmm.
rather than just saying, hey, here's just so much data, and I still rely on you, Mr. CSM, parse all the data. That doesn't work if we want to grow to that enhanced operational efficiency with more and more customers. Right?
Yeah.
That we have to invest in using the tool to its fullest capabilities.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what you're saying is, let's say one CSM has 150 customer, and
Mhm.
maybe it should have priority of like this 5 customer, I need to touch. I need to talk to them. I need to send whatever.
Mhm.
Next 10 customer, my AI agent can do it for me, right?
Yes.
Next, we don't need to do anything right now,
Mhm. Yep.
right? Okay. That's really great. Okay, awesome. So what do you think as a CS leader, you need to prep your organization not only from AI perspective. Of course, the kind of leveraging or introduction of AI definitely is shifting things around, right? From organized structure, how to do it, and all those things. So with this, what are the pressure that we're getting from customer in 2026, and what are the new innovation that has been done? What do you think as a leader we should prepare our CS organization? And I think there is a little bit of shift on CS organization, that more and more organizations are trying to put the CS team on the under CRO as opposed to operation as before, right? So there's definitely some changes happening on overall on CS. So what's your take, what we should do for 2026?
I think in 2026, the first thing I would say to the team is um, be aware of price pressure, be aware of economic pressure, right? Don't be naive to think that 2026 is like 2025, right? Every organization is going through um, an assessment right now is, am I spending my money where it should be spent? So you have increased pressure to prove your value to your customer. Know that right away and focus on that. Prove your value, and we will be retained. Okay. The other thing that I would say is organizationally, what you're going to see is more and more emphasis on expansion and upsell, not just retention. Right? If there's price pressure, economic price pressure, the cost of sales is going to go up. New sales is going to be harder and harder. So there's pressure to say, let's also generate revenue from our existing customer base. So understand the priority on upsell and expansion.
Yeah.
And I think you achieve those two, retention, upsell, expansion, or those three, by understanding the customer and proving value to the customer. Right? We have to do that because if you don't do that, then you're going to be fighting that uphill battle of, you may have a competitor that comes in and they're so desperate to get a new sale, they'll do a 50% discount or 70% discount, right? They'll buy the business, so to speak. But you can't buy business if I'm sitting here today ensconced in my seat saying, hey, look at the value I provided to you. Let me demonstrate the value I provided to you. Let me demonstrate my understanding of your business, and let me demonstrate how it will help you grow your business going forward. Right? That's how I would position my team in 2026. Those are the drivers you have to focus on, or those are the areas you have to focus on, because 2026 right now, as I sit here, it's going to be a tough battle.
Yeah. 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 No, that's great. I think that's great insights. I guess more last question. So do you think that what you just explained could be a competitive advantage for an organization as a customer success? Like if organization have to say, hey, I want to build my customer success team as a competitive advantage over my competitors. Anything you want to add? How do we make that happen?
I think you can use CS as a competitive advantage by making sure there is a understanding of your customers. Invest in understanding your customers. And it's not just the CS, I would say organizationally, there has to be a customer-centric view. From sales through CS, through over to product management, a customer-centric view of understanding the customer, why they bought it, managing that customer relationship, taking customer feedback and bringing it to product management. But if you have a full team effort to servicing your customer, with CS being a key component, then CS is a competitive advantage.
Awesome. Thank you. I hope our viewers are listening to this, and I'm sure these are some golden nuggets how you can make your customer success as a competitive advantage for the company. So thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. It was great talking to you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Feel free to contact us if you want to learn more about how AI can help customer success.